don't love you back. Stay tuned every Wednesday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Pacific, with your hosts, Boyd and Lucinda, for the hottest talk show in existence. The streets don't love you back. I gotta do right before they call me home.
Good evening and welcome to the Streets Don't Love You Back show. Today is August 31st, 2011. I'm your host, Lucinda, with my co-host, Boyd. And our topic is, as always, the streets don't love you back. Join us every Wednesday night with real people, real stories, and real changes as we hear the truth about gangs, drugs, violence, abuse, and other life issues. We have a great show for you tonight. We have Mr. Sidney Daniel. He has recently gotten out of prison after, I believe, 16 or 18 years. He grew up in the east side of Detroit, Michigan, and we're going to hear his story here in just a little bit. Sidney, are you there?
Hey, hello.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty with Rob, but we'll get him back on here in just a few minutes. Welcome to the show, Sidney, and glad you could call in tonight and tell us a little bit about your life and what's happened to you. And why don't we go ahead and go ahead and just introduce yourself to everybody and let them know where you're from.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm actually located in Detroit, Michigan at this moment, and I'm a brother of Rob's, one of his younger brothers. I just did 17 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. However, I'm not bitter about the accusations and whatnot, but it was a rough struggle, climbing that road, walking down that road. And right now I'm trying to get rehabilitated by, continuing the little life that I do have left by not looking back on what happened. He told me about the show. And
right.
About a lot of the people that was involved in the show, and I was real ecstatic to meet everybody, so I told him tonight I was going to try to make it my business to be a part of the show.
That's right. Well, we're happy to have you on, and as Sidney said, he is one of Rob's brothers, and we'll get into that story a little bit later. We actually are going to be meeting him next week. We've only talked on the phone, and we just found out that he was a brother here just recently. When their father passed away. So small world and amazing stories. But let's go back to your childhood. Tell us a little bit about, obviously we know your father wasn't around, but tell us a little bit about what you went through as a young child and what your life was like as a young child.
Well, as a young child, pretty much, my mom was a stand-up mom. She was like mother and dad. And, she mother's 11, so therefore, it was kind of hard on her, but she overcame a lot of difficulties, and we made it through, like I said, we pretty much had what everybody else had because of, whatever the odds she had to do to make ends meet, but she always managed to keep everything afloat, and we like I said, but, by us being the age we were, when we got here in Detroit, it was like, we really didn't know what was going on. We were still young, but as I grew, I thought to myself, like, okay, yeah, we try to, there's an empty gap, something was missing. And then when I finally got in touch with my dad, it was like, we were trying to, mend things, and get back together and try to, start fresh. But then later on I got locked up, and when I later got released, liberated from the system, I learned of his passing. That kind of, hit me hard because I was trying to figure out what had happened to him because I haven't heard from him so long.
Right. Now, you didn't grow up with him in your life, or did you see him very often when you were small?
I've seen him off and on.
Off and on.
I've seen him off and on.
And that was just for short visitation periods. You never went and stayed with him, or he never came and stayed with you and actually did things with you, or?
Actually, we went a few places out to eateries and stuff like that. Mom would tell, when I was younger, him and mom, they went out to cafes or what have you. When he come in town, we'd spend a little time, hours at a time with him, Then we'd go back to wherever he was located at the moment, whether it be a hotel or a friend's house, and right there I wouldn't see him for a while. You know, like I said, years elapsed. Then I'll get a call from him, and I'll wonder where he at. He was promising he'd come in town or whatever, and I don't see him. Then I see him, and it was like, you know, off and on relationship, and it was crazy.
Right. And you're the oldest of
11.
His children with your mom, right? Are you the oldest of all 11?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, and that's a big responsibility in itself, don't you think? I know I'm the oldest of 8, so I know.
Wow. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's a big responsibility, huh?
It is. It's a huge responsibility.
Now, how old were you when you first started getting in trouble? Or obviously you moved from Cincinnati when you were a young child to not only Detroit, but to the east side of Detroit, which is already at that time was in a lot of turmoil. What did you see when you moved into Detroit?
Well, actually, when I moved to Detroit, I seen a lot of things that I didn't expect Detroit to be like. You know, as far as like I understood the lifestyle of Chicago and California and whatnot, New York, certain areas, as far as the gang banging thing and the people that, you know, drug dealings and the killings and whatnot. But when I started seeing Detroit, you know, it was a big step, no surprise, and I had to like grow up quicker than what I normally would have probably grew up. And therefore I had to, you know, like kind of like be an overseer over the younger ones, you know, as far as my brothers and nephews and cousins and whatnot, because they didn't know what was going on. I was just learning what was happening, so I had to kind of like be the eyes and the ears for them. But it was difficult. Like I said, it was hard. So it was definitely hard, you know, going to school. You got bullies in schools. You got people that want to rob you for millions of things, you know, little things, you know, glasses, coats, and whatnot. But it was crazy, you know, because I wasn't, you know, really prepared for it. But at the same time, I was forced to, like, embrace that type of lifestyle for the moment until I was able to move forth.
Right. You're kind of forced to help take care of the kids and the family and do what you got to do. You know, just like in Rob's situation. Only, you know, your dad never did come and really, after a certain age, do much with him at all. And that's, I guess, what made Rob pretty bitter, because he was never around and could have made a different impact, because, you know, that's why Rob turned to the streets to, obviously, well, he didn't have his stepfather or his father anymore or his grandfather, so, you know, turned to the guys in the streets as I guess, mentors, because they were there, and then used, you know, took his anger and bitterness out in the streets, and that's where he found his connection, I guess, and was able to do what he had to do. But then again, he wanted to be the one to help take care of Mom and make sure things were right for the family, because he was like the man of the house.
Exactly.
And that's probably how you felt.
And you know, it was cool. I remember, like, when I first hooked up with him, I was in my, like, last stage of treatment. I was in a treatment facility. I was there, and on my way out of there, you know, I got a call. Well, actually, I made a call to my other brother, and he was like, you know who I just found out I talked to on the phone? I'm like, who? And he was like, our other brother, Rob. I'm like, who? It's like our brother, Rob.
What other brother? Yeah.
And, you know, it was funny because he didn't even know we existed, and I didn't know he existed. And as we started talking, started sharing certain things, you know, we learned that it was, you know, a lot that we need to get in contact with one another about, you know. So we started, you know, cooking up and everything, and started, you know, elaborating over the phone an hour at a time, sometime in the middle of the night. And we learned more about one another as well as about him. And it was surprising because I learned more about him from him than I did from him. And I was like, wow, you know. And I'm like, well, it got to be who he say he is, because he knows more about my dad than I know, and he knows some of the things that I know, so I know he couldn't be lying about it. And then he listened to me, he's like, yeah, for real. So we kind of like sharing stories, you know, but it was like, it's really a sad situation, but at the same time, we made the best out of it, you know, because we realized, you know, you got to let the deceased be deceased. You know, you can't relive the past. You know, the past is the past. So what we do is just like, you can grieve for a moment momentarily, then you can sit back and you can say certain things or even do certain things. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you can't bring them back, and there's no need to ponder on what's old. You know, it's time to move forward.
Right.
So, like I said, it was learning experience.
And even though, I mean, he wasn't there, you know, and if he was, you know, things could have been better, I'm sure. But like you said, we can't dwell in the past. We have to just and we all make our choices, whether mom and dad are there or they're not there. We make our choices, and we choose right and we choose wrong. And when we're out here doing wrong, we can't blame mom and dad all the time. We have to take responsibility for the things that we've done, the things that we do. And that's what we need to teach young children, too. Don't blame mom and dad for the choices that you make and the mistakes that you made, that mom wasn't here or dad wasn't there, or, because a lot of times mom and dad do teach us the right things, and we just don't want to hear it, or we choose to make the wrong decisions.
And that's pretty much.
What do you think about that?
A lot of times we sit back and we choose to take, our own approach of life instead of doing what we know is best for us to do. We figure like, okay, if I do it this way, it'll get done. But, a lot of times our way is not the right way. But a lot of times that's what we do. We sit back and we say, okay, well, I'm not going to listen to what she's talking about, because somebody might look at me like, why am I doing this like this? This is crazy. But opposed to you having your own decision and, making your own mind based on what you want to do, the way you want to do it, you feel like, okay, well, who was somebody to tell me what to do? But a lot of times, when people do wrong, speaking on myself, when I do wrong or even had an idea to do wrong, it was like I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I chose to do what I was doing anyway.
Right. Right. Now, how old were you? Tell us. I'm not quite sure how much you got into the gangbanging, drug dealing scene, like robbing everybody. But tell us a little bit about your life and how you got involved in the street life, and what age and what kind of went on back then.
Well, pretty much like when I was probably like 12, 13. I was always traveling. Mom always kept me moving around. So when I was like 12 or 13, I can remember. I would even say 13. I remember I was down in the Chicago area, and we went down there, and I met up with the relatives, and they was wild, and, he was talking about the jail systems, and a lot of times a lot of them guys down there, they go to jail early on, 13, 15. They juvenile. Their jail is like pretty much like the juvenile system up here now. And down in Cook County, what they do is like they separate them, they split them up. That was the only difference down there. They split people up, like according to your rank or your affiliation, what gang you're affiliated with. Here they pretty much put everybody like in the same little pod and let y'all just duke it out. Yeah, and like whoever lives, they'll set a sentence time. Or whoever died, they'll bury them. It's crazy.
Oh,
but it's a big adjustment thing. Like I said, you study adjusting and getting used to and adapting to certain situations, that you're not normally used to. And I went down to New York. I was down in Buffalo, and it was crazy down there because where we were stationed at, it was like people that were there, it was like laid back, but the outskirts of where we was located, they was like, the east side of Buffalo, just like the east side of Detroit. You had guys gang banging, you had shootings, killing, stuff that we were seeing at an early age, that we shouldn't have seen as a child. But it kind of like push you into growing up and, moving faster through life than what you would normally do, and like I said, I can relate to a lot of situations because I've been involved and I've seen a lot of situations, whereas, young kids come up and do things and involve themselves with stuff, then their parents, like, pretty much loosen them and let them, just be a, product of society, which they become, systematically involved with the system. And it's crazy that, you allow your child to go like that, allow the system to raise them, because what we say is a system within the system where they have a plan and a program to where they raise your child without you even knowing what's going on, in terms of having your child come in, you tell, this is my baby, 15, 16, but once he's through the system, they charge you as an adult, you're no longer a minor, and they eyesight you wrong.
Right.
And like I said, that's wrong, but, that's the way of society, that's how they operate. And like I said, until we get a grip on what's really going on and actually learn our children, first learn ourselves to be able to learn our children, it's going to continue to be an ongoing cycle.
Right.
But it's sad.
And so, what did your mom tell you when you were out in the streets doing what you were doing?
Pretty much, she didn't want me out there, but, when she realized at the moment that she couldn't pretty much control me or whatever, she said, well, what I want you to do is wherever you go and whatever you do in life, be safe. Make sure you contact me. Let me know how you doing, where you at, so I won't be worried and whatnot. And a lot of times it didn't go that way because I didn't want her to worry. But just like a regular mom, that's what they'll be telling you, like, don't do nothing, when you go out there, be safe. Make sure that somebody always know where you at. You know, but when you out in the streets, you're not thinking like that. You like, I don't want nobody to know where I'm at. I'm my own man. I'm finna do what I do. When I see you at the end of the day, if I make it through the day, if not, then who? Hey, you know, that's how people operate. You know, when you're out there like that, you're not thinking about family because there is none. You know, your family is who you're surrounded with.
Right. Well, you know, we finally got Rob back on the line. We've taken care of that little problem. So welcome, Rob. We've been sitting here talking with your brother, Sidney.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say, oh, man, I had to run and grab me a cord. I left my cord in my homeboy ride, and the phone had blinked out. I got frantic, so I had to go all the way to the store and grab me a cord. I'm back live in color, and just want to say I thank God for my brother Sidney, who all the fans and viewers who's listening tonight. Sidney is one of my younger brothers. Me and Sidney have the same father, different mothers. Me and Sidney have never met each other in person a day in our life. We never even knew about each other until this March when our father had passed. And Sidney didn't know our father had passed until I learned I had 5 brothers in Detroit and reached out to them. And I reached out to Sidney and them because my wife told me that was the right thing to do. So when I speak on that, I always have to give my wife her props on that because she was the one who initiative for me to reach out to them because I live a very, very private life and I just lead back life, you know what I mean, and I be with my family and my wife and my grandkids, you know, and my team. So she just thought it was proper for me to reach out and see what was happening on that end. And right to this day, I'm still flabbergasted, you know what I mean, because I have 3 other brothers, which is Sidney's brothers, that's in prison right to this day, you know what I mean? So 2 of them got long football stretches, and our brother Robbie will be home in a couple of years. So I'm still in shock. You know, altogether it's 12 of us, you know, 9 boys and 3 girls. That's the kids that my father had, and I had never knew about them until he passed in March. So I'm still blown away, ladies and gentlemen, you know.
Yeah, well, we've been sitting here talking a little bit about it while you were getting your problem solved and getting your phone fixed. But, yeah, you know, when Rob was at the funeral, your dad's funeral, he was in Cincinnati and I was still in Arizona. And he called me and he said, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" And he's like, "I got 5 more brothers in Detroit that I didn't even know I had." And among all the rest of them that he didn't know he had either. But, you know, it was just amazing to finally, you know, reach you guys. And then, you know, I told him, because I'm a big believer in family, and family is everything, you know, and you know, unless you reach out, and if they don't want nothing to do with you, then that's on them. But at least, you know, I feel that we need to do our part and reach out to our brothers and sisters and family and you know, and be there and show them that we care. And so he's like, okay. And I said, let's write them. So what? If they're in prison, so what? They're still family. We're writing them. We're going to help them. We're going to, you know, take care of them, whatever we can do. And he's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's do this. So it was just amazing, and it's amazing to hear, you know, from Robbie and Marvell, and hopefully we'll hear from Christopher one day. Okay. But you know, and Corey, our littlest brother, we've got to keep him out of trouble, so he doesn't never have to find out what prison's like.
So you want to never have to find out what prison like?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just want to say right quick before you iterate on something, babe, I was off the phone for a few minutes, but I just wanted to ask Sidney again, you know, how did you feel when you found out that you had an older brother, and how did you feel when you found out our father had passed, and that's the only way we both knew we had brothers and sisters everywhere else? You know, how did that make you feel as an individual?
As an individual, that made me feel like, you know, I was pretty much, you know, kind of like mixed feelings. You know, I was sort of like, I might as well just say I was like, you know, happy to learn that, you know, it was somebody else other than me, and especially older than me, because that was like a big relief. But at the same time, the way we found out, it was crazy. And I thought to myself, like, man, you know, like, why did I have to get this type of news at this particular moment? You know what I'm saying? And then not only am I getting this type of news, because like I was telling her, that when I learned of you and of his passing, I wasn't incarcerated, but I was in a treatment facility, and I was in my second week of graduating. And it was crazy because I had something to look forward to as far as me getting up out of there. And then before I get out of there, I get this news that it's another brother, some more sisters, dad passed. I'm like, what do I do? Am I happy because of the other brothers and sisters? Am I mad because he's dead? Am I disturbed about the fact that he didn't tell me it was nobody else? You know, it was crazy. I had all kind of mixed feelings, you know. And still to the day, I sit back and I ask myself, like, even though it's y'all, is it somebody else, you know? Because you never know. I mean, I'm glad that you came to the forefront and put it out there, you know, that you is who you are, you know what I'm saying, and you thought enough to reach out, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the books, the CDs or whatnot, and then the pictures or whatever through the phone or whatever, you know what I'm saying, all that made a difference. But like I said, it was crazy because there was so much going on, you know, at the particular time that you decided to come in contact with us, and I'm like, for a long time, like, what next? What else can happen? You know, I can't, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, any more bad news? And all of a sudden I get some good news, and there comes some more bad news, and I'm like, you know what? I said, it's crazy, man. But like I said, I was just sitting back and I was telling myself, I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to capitalize on the good. I'm not going to dwell on the past or the old stuff. I don't want to go off or, you know, even conversate about what he didn't do, why he didn't do it. He gone, so I'm going to let him rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? But we know life goes on. I have a family of my own right now. He has a family of his own. So, you know, like I said, you know, we know we must continue to move forth, you know what I'm saying? We can't stagnate, because if we do that, then our youngins, you know what I'm saying, are going to be just like us. They're going to be hurt. They're going to be resentful. They're going to not want to. They're going to be ashamed of us, not want to talk about certain situations until they grow out of it. So I'm trying to stop that, nip that in the bud right now before it's too late. But like I said, when I speak highly on certain issues, you know what I'm saying, in regards to certain people. And, you know, with a child, you know, you only can feed a child so much information, because if you tell the child what we're talking about right now, they might have a different outlook on what's going on. So by us being grown, you know, we can sit back and we can elaborate on a lot of topics. We can sit back and laugh about things. We can even sit back and mourn about things. At the end of the day, we know what it is, you know. And like I said, right now I'm pretty much to the point where I don't let a lot of stuff blow over. But like I said, I'm glad to know and learn that the fact that I have a brother that's away from where I'm at, you know, it's in another state, that's doing all right for itself, you know, that's willing to reach out for him, you know what I'm saying? And to us, you know, as far as my mom, my other brothers and everything, you know, because that was a blessing itself.
Right. You know, and like I say all the time, you know, coming up as a kid, you know what I mean, I just got to touch on this for a minute, you know. Coming up as a kid, you know, I would see our father on TV, you know what I mean, for 30 years, you know. He had his own TV station, he had his own radio broadcast, and, you know, I would be running the streets of Detroit, and I'm looking like, wow, you know, I'm here, you know what I mean, what's happening, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, as a kid, you know, from very young, you know what I mean, I would be very angry as a kid because, you know, he would never do nothing for me financially or none of that, you know what I mean? So as a youngster, at 10 years old, I started making my own money, you know what I'm saying? And started taking care of my own mother and my own brothers and sisters. So as a very young age, I learned what it was to pay bills at a very young age. I became very responsible at a very young age that most kids at that age be playing, you know, mud pies and running in the store eating juju beans. And I was talking about thousands of dollars. I wasn't thinking about no juju beans, you know what I mean? I was about taking care of my family. And I thank God that he blessed me to overcome a lot of adversity and things that I was doing out there in that lifestyle. But, yeah, family have always been a very high priority to me, and I have to always give my wife big props because she's the one who brought this together, even though I learned of my brothers and sisters, like I said. You know, I live a very private life, you know, and for her to really sit down and talk to me, and I decided to branch out. You know, I'm very glad I branched out because now I can sit at the round table with my brothers and see where they vision at in life and where they trying to go in life. and I can make things happen in their life. You know what I mean? So it's about each one, teach one, bless one, and motivate one. You know what I'm saying? So, and we all look just alike. So that's the killing part. You know, I can't look at now one of my brothers and not see me.
Right.
So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because we all look like our father. Period. You know what I mean? So that can't be denied. You know? And like I tell anybody, you know, he was a very successful man. He just was not a good father. So what I did, I took the bad and I took the good at what he did, you know what I mean, and I weighed it all out. So when it comes to the good part of the successful things he done, you know, I got that trademark very well because I strive for success every day. You know what I mean? I'm very self-motivated at what I do, and I set out to accomplish something, and when I accomplish it, I check it off my checklist. Accomplished, job well done, and I go to the next one. So I've always been a motivated guy since I was a young boy. So that's just what I wanted to say. So I'll pass the mic back over to the missus.
All right. Well, we were talking about how you grew up, Sidney, and being out in that life. How was it trying to keep your brothers out of that life, or did you let them come in so you guys could work together and do greater things? What were you thinking back then?
Well, for a long time, you know, it was like trying to keep them out of the life, but then when I, you know, dipped off for a while, you know, took little trips out of town or, you know, decided to, like, run away for a minute, you know what I'm saying, just to get away, thinking everything was cool by me relocating and not relocating them, that they wasn't going to be able to be exposed to the things that I was exposed to. And to later find out that a lot of them was, and they was emulating me, trying to be like me. So when I came back, it was pretty much too late for some of them. So what I did was pretty much, you know, like once I realized at that moment, I said, okay, well, since you are where you are, you know, it's time for us to emerge. So you being out here with somebody else, you know, we might as well keep this family. And so pretty much that's what we did. You know, we made sure everybody was tight, everybody stayed together, and every time something came about, you know, it was everybody all or nothing.
Mhm.
So it was pretty much like, you know, like I said, we were jam tight. We was always tight, no matter what side of town or the world we was on. We always came
and
together.
And you guys were your own little gang, but you were all brothers.
Exactly.
All family. So tell us about the first time you went to prison and what happened. What got you there?
Well, the first time I went to prison because I was selling guns, and I got caught with two of them. And they told me, I was told that I was going to get probation, you know, for getting caught with the one gun, but I turned around and a few weeks later got caught with another one. So they said, well, we can't give you probation, we're going to offer you prison time. So instead of me going to prison, I cut a deal with the prosecutors and whatnot to go to another detention center, which was, what they call that, Dickinson facility, William Dickinson facility out in Hamtramck over off Conant. They sent me there, and I was supposed to be there for like 6 months. Actually supposed to be a year, but, you know, it was day for day at the time, so it was 6 months. In the process of me being there, before I got ready to get released from there, gang squad came over there, picked me up, took me out of 1300 Bovia. They rearranged me on a bunch of charges, you know, as far as attempt murder, you know, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, and crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? So one thing led to another, and then ever since then I didn't look back. When I came home, they put some more stuff on. So next thing you know, I look up, and I'm like, you know what? After they already labeled me, they already targeted me, ain't no need for me to look back. Now since they're saying this is what I am, this is who I am, I'm finna show them who I am. And I got heavier involved in the streets. And as I started, you know, moving around and moving about, I started realizing that a lot of doors started opening, and I started connecting with a lot of people, even though they were for the wrong reasons in some aspect. But I learned that, you know, this was my way of moving and growing. And like I said, at the end of the day, my whole thing was, like you said, pretty much to try to keep things from my younger siblings. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Certain things that I have to do that they may be exposed to, but I'm hoping they don't pick up on. And like I said, now I'm like resentful because I have like 4 other brothers that's locked up that's younger than me that I feel that I probably could have possibly saved had I been out here.
Right. And then again, you could have done everything right, and they still made the choices that they made.
Exactly, because like a lot of times I look at the various cases. Like I said, it stimulates from murder to drug dealing to racketeering. And it's all my past. So I'm looking at it like maybe it could have been something that I overlooked that they were seeing in me that I didn't realize they were focusing on. And because none of them like that, so for them to get that, they had to get it from somewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, I was the closest to them, so I'm assuming that some of the stuff came from what they saw or what they thought they knew or what they done heard out here in the streets.
Right. And so were you in prison 2 different times?
I was in prison 3 different times.
Okay. And you said you went to prison for something that you didn't do. What happened there?
I was charged with 4 murders, 4 attempt murders. Yep, I was
4 murders?
4 attempt murders.
Oh, attempt murders.
Yeah. And possession of drugs. I was charged with that, and I had ended up beating 2 of the cases, and they broke 2 of them down. But it was crazy because, like, the 2 that I was charged with, I wasn't supposed to be charged with, and the 2 that they supposed to broke down wasn't supposed to never exist in the first place because they figure, like, they tell you not to sell drugs, they tell you not to do this and do that, but at the same time, when it comes to at the end of the day, they want you to pay restitution, pay court costs, and if you don't have it, they want to lock you up. So if there's no jobs, the economy low, there's no other alternative to turn around and do nothing but sell drugs. So when you do that, to try to keep everything afloat, as far as paying your restitution, court costs, your lawyer fee, they want your money, but they want to also know how you're getting it, and it's crazy.
Right.
It's like, I send mixed messages to me. Either you want the money or you don't. If you don't want the money, let me let you know when I'm going to get a job. That way you can garnish my check or whatever. But don't tell me you don't, you want the money, you need it at a certain deadline, and I don't have a job. So now there's no other way for me to get the money but this way. And the only reason I'm going this way is because if I don't do it this way, you're going to lock me up. So I'm trying to meet your deadline so I can give you what you want. But, it's crazy. That's how they operate.
So how much time did you end up getting on that bit right there when they twist you on them cases like that?
I ended up doing the 10-piece, but while I was doing the 10-piece, I ended up catching another 5-year bit while I was in there, and then I got back out and I did 2 more, and it was crazy, But
wow.
So altogether, you done did 17 years of your life in the gates.
I was out for like maybe 2 months, but in a 17-year span, I was out for like 2 months in between time, but for the most part of it, 17.
Wow. So how old was you when you first went in the joint?
When I first went in there, I was 19 years old.
Wow. And you came out when you was in your 30s.
Yeah, I just turned 39 Saturday.
And happy birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, which I talked to him the night of his birthday. I hit him at 12 straight up on the dot, and we followed that day for his birthday. So it was a blessing, you feel me? And like I said, I'm just, overwhelmed, and I'm still overwhelmed that I got brothers, what I'm saying, that grew up in the same area almost as I did, and it still blows me away, And we want to give a shout-out to my brother Christopher, that's doing a long stretch, and my brother Marvell that's doing a long stretch, and our brother Robbie that be home in 2 years. So it's all good, you know what I mean? And I just thank God for the grace and his mercy at allowing me to continue to reach out and help others. And my wife made that a vocal point that, yeah, you help a lot of people, so yeah, you definitely need to reach out and see what your brother's talking about. So, yeah, she was the reason that ice got broke. So I got to always thank her for that all the time,
And another thing, once I add, like I said, we got a bunch of, we come from a long line of talent. We got like, I've been doing my own examination, as far as on the younger ones that's here with me. And I know one thing we all have in common, that we all, pretty much poetic. You know, we write books, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them sing, they write music, write raps, you know, stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that, you know, we have in common there, like just reaching out to Rob and understanding and learning his past and what he do. And, you know, as far as in the music biz, you know, we understand that we not only connected bloodline, but we connected, you know what I'm saying, all the way around. And that's a beautiful thing, you know, so we can always connect on any level.
That's right.
Amen for that, you know. And like I say, you know, we definitely be seeing each other in person sooner than you think. You know what I mean? I ain't going to even say the exact date, but, you know, you'll be getting a call saying, hey, this is where you need to be coming to. You feel me?
Right, for sure.
Already, you know. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to the Streets Don't Love You Back radio show. So, hey, we right back with my brother Sidney, all the way live from the Big D, Detroit, the Motor City. And we're going to turn the mic back over to the music.
All right. I just wanted to ask you, you know, being in prison for 17 years, and, I mean, you missed your whole young adult life, you know, being in there. Tell us what it was like being in there, and then what, after coming out and seeing the devastation and the destruction, you know, of Detroit. I'm not sure what it looked like when you went in, but parts of Detroit, and I don't like to, you know, I don't want to always put down Detroit, but, you know, the east side and parts of Detroit are really, really destroyed and devastated. And, you know, what do you see different now than you did when you went in? Oh, hold on. Let me get you back on. Sorry, Sidney. I had the mic down for a minute. Sorry. Go ahead, Sidney.
Well, so, yeah, what I see different now is that a lot of Detroit that went to the dump pretty much. You know, like you can stand on one block and see like blocks both ways, especially on the east side. But at the same time, you know, you already know what neighborhood you're from. So, you know, when you go in certain areas, you like, it's still my hood. But like I said, I just, you know, I go with the flow. I look at certain things and I take it for face value, like understanding that, you know, this is a neighborhood, this is where I grew up at, this is where I've been at, and this is where I'm going to be at, you know. But a lot of times, you know, you look at situations, you say, man, it's sad, you know, like how could this area or how could this town, period, go to dump like that? Because we're supposed to be the Motor City and everybody comes to the city, you know. Now it's supposed to be like a tourist attraction. You got the casino, Riverwalk, people move, you know, different little events that take place. But when people come in, if you look at it, the only thing that's really built up is downtown. So,
right.
You know, I rode through a lot of the old neighborhoods when I first came out. A few of my homies came and got me. We rode through the neighborhoods, and they was like, what used to be right here? And I'm looking like, what areas we in? You know, and they like, this is where the old house was at. I'm like, who old house? They're like, remember we stayed right there? And I'm like, stayed right there. And I'm seeing houses burnt down, then firebombed, fields got holes in them, like a crane.
Right.
It was crazy, you know, like I said, because it was like, to me, unrealistic, because I couldn't understand or adapt to the fact, you know what I'm saying, that this what was. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just even trying to remember what was there at one particular moment was crazy enough to try to, you know, I mean, I was like, dude, for real. You know, and I'm coming out thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to stop by here, see if Mr. Such and Such still live here, go down here and visit so-and-so. And the fact of the matter is, not only they ain't there, the house is not there.
Right.
But like I said,
or they're destroyed.
Right. It was devastating. It was real devastating to learn the news, you know, understanding that, you know, all you knew had been demolished, you know, in history, like, just gone. And that's pretty much like all you know, like, you've been there for so many years that when you come out, you know, a lot of people, you know, come out doing the same thing, and they do the same thing because that's all they know. But if you could only go to one area because it's all you know, and you go to this area and ain't nothing there, and they say the old saying, nothing from nothing, leave nothing. So if you go there and ain't nothing there, you're just there, you know what I'm saying? You're just out in the streets. And like Brother Rob said, you know, the streets don't love you back. He couldn't have put it no plainer, you know.
Right.
And
what did you, when you were in prison all those years, did you have the opportunity to go to classes, or did they have any educational stuff in the prisons you were in for you?
They had a lot of educational stuff during the time I came through. I took a bunch of stuff, you know, as far as I took up auto mechanics, building maintenance, you know what I'm saying, when I was in there. I studied small engine repair. There's a lot of things I did do. I was in there to utilize my time. I wasn't just in there. But as it stands now, they removed a lot of them programs from the prison setting because it was costing the state too much money to run them. However, I caught the end of it. But I pretty much prospered from it because when I came out, I was able to use a lot of the stuff that I knew to do what I had to do, you know what I'm saying, in terms of try to maintain while I was out here.
Right. And since you've been out, what have you what hardships have you faced trying to find employment and getting back into society? What is the hardest thing for you?
The main focus on part of hardship was the fact of the matter that coming out here, well, actually allowing us so much time to elapse, and people to pass form or whatnot that I was closest to, that was my support system. Coming out here trying to start all over again, pretty much on my own. And some of the questions was to come out here and try to face reality, and reality was trying to get a job knowing that it's going to be harder, much harder, to get hired as a convict or a convicted felon. And, that was a rejection that you had to be willing to face when you come out, because that was pretty much one of the main things that you had to look forward to. So I was trying to, come to grips with that, and a lot of times that kind of hindered me from even wanting to even get a job, just so I wouldn't have to deal with the rejection stage.
Definitely. Rob?
So I just want to say, where are you at now in your life, and, where are things going for you right now? You know what I mean? What is the motivation now in you to move forward at whatever your dream might be?
Right now, what's motivating me is the fact that, my mom's still here. And even though she's 60, she's still here going strong, beautiful children, I'm watching them blossom, they growing older, they manifold. I got a beautiful queen that I'm involved with now, we're expecting. And it's a lot of stuff, like I said, is going good my way, so at the same time, like I said, I'm grateful, I'm happy, I'm blessed. I'm in a position right now where I'm able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to do at first, the legal way. And like I said, I got a lot of stuff accomplished this time that I've been home, and due to the fact that I have a beautiful queen and a lovely mother and a beautiful family, that's behind me, to be able to do a lot of this stuff, and that's a blessing itself.
That's
so
right.
Amen.
I realize all that right there, because I realize and recognize that's a gift, to be able to, have people in your life to do things, to move mountains, to open up doors, and have a mouthpiece to be able to talk for you when you can't talk,
Right. Yeah, that's a blessing, my brother. You feel me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
I'm going to let you have a few words with my queen real quick before you shoot to the commercial while she's still here.
Okay, my man. Yeah, put on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes,
welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome to the radio show. We doing it big, you know what I mean? How you feeling down there?
Oh, pretty good. Can't complain.
Dig that. You like to give anybody any shout outs while you're live on the air?
Oh, well, of course, the streets don't love you back, number one. So
all right.
Get that out there. But since we're talking, and you guys, what state are you based in right now?
We worldwide. Our radio show is worldwide on the internet.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to give a shout out to some of my family, in particular over in Arizona. My brother.
All right.
My brother Big.
What part of Arizona?
He's over in, I want to say, Mesa. At the last place.
Okay. Yeah, that ain't too far from us.
Huh? Yeah, it's not
that ain't too far from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess I would like to give a shout out to one of my brothers over here in Detroit, Tu. His name is Tu. And I don't really have anybody else in particular I want to give a shout out to. That's about it.
That. Right. You give a shout out to the kids. You got kids?
Yeah. Give a shout out to my kids. I got 2 kids, Ariana and LaJoya, ages 4 and 2, and one on the way.
Damn it. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, my brother got a baby on the way?
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, we can't be mad at that at all. You feel me? So, we got a niece and nephew floating on the way, ladies and gentlemen. So,
yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to Dee Dee. Her birthday is today. That's
okay, happy birthday.
Sidney and Corey's little sister.
It's her birthday?
Yes.
Oh, tell her happy birthday for us.
They said tell her happy birthday from them. And I wish you guys much success on everything, your business and stuff that you're running, and all your programs and everything.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, young lady. And,
when is the baby due?
Well, I just found out Friday night at the hospital
wow.
I was 5 weeks pregnant. So I have to go back
Just
yeah.
kicked off.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, welcome to the family.
We'll be seeing you guys real soon.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to seeing you.
Oh, ain't no mystery,
Yeah.
So you have a good one, and we appreciate you taking time out to talk on the radio show tonight.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you soon.
Want to say something, Mary? Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Did you say anything?
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, what's happening, little mama?
Hello.
Hello.
We're glad you stopped in.
Microwave.
Yeah, that's all love right there. You know what I mean? So you got a little one coming on, huh, bro?
Oh yeah, for sure. We just
what it is.
to the news, and I kind of figured that I wasn't for sure, but she wasn't found out for sure now. So that's
it is what it is.
Right. And that's another blessing in disguise because everybody can't have children. So I believe that's a gift itself. So I look at all sides, being coming from the Creator. You know what I'm saying? He gave us and put us in position to do things and have things because He wanted to see us with things. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it wasn't nothing done by no mistake. It's not a coincidence that it just happened to be us too when she be pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So it's something I actually asked for. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that He do answer prayers and whatnot. As long as you're obedient.
Amen.
So we both talked about it, and I said, none of my children, born under me, when I was out here with them, to whereas when they was birth, you know what I'm saying, I didn't get a chance to witness none of their birth, so I told him, I said, I want one, I can go in there and actually witness the birth from the beginning to the end, and he allowed me to have that, and then he also allowed me to do it while my mom was still pregnant, so that was even better, you know what I'm saying.
Say hi to your mom for us, too.
Yeah, she, right here, as a matter of fact.
We'll put her on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
hi,
how you doing,
Daniel?
Sister Daniel?
How you doing?
Live on the air. Yeah,
bless
live
you.
on the air, So,
Good to know.
You got anything you would like to say tonight?
Well, it's a blessing just to hear your voices. It's a blessing.
Thank you much.
And I have to say I'm honored. A little surprised, but yet I'm honored.
Good.
Amen.
How are you doing? How are you holding up out there? Everything okay?
Everything is beautiful now. Very beautiful. Look like the days are getting better.
Good.
What about
Amen.
you all? How's everything for you all?
Oh, God has just been blessing us,
Keeping
and
busy.
we just steady stop.
Okay, so the family's okay?
Everybody's
no
good
doubt.
on this end.
Okay, that sounds good for me then. Then that makes the struggle a little bit easier.
We got one more grandbaby on the way in October, so we have 4 grandkids.
That's right.
So that's a blessing by itself,
Every new creation is a blessing.
Oh, ain't no doubt. So I just like to give a shout out to all my grandkids and all my kids and, the whole family, and the whole Streets Don't Love Us Back movement team. So, it is what it is,
It definitely is, and I'm honored. I'm going to say it like this again. But so if I don't have this opportunity, I'm going to take advantage of it now. Just hearing your voice and knowing that you're doing good works and people are allowed to be able to call in and kind of express themselves and, be motivated by the program itself is a blessing because we're on an outlet somewhere. That outlet is needed. We can get into something, but sometimes it's hard to get out of it. So you're opening a door for a lot of people.
And we appreciate that. And we just want to say, our prayers and our blessings to study with you because, we know exactly what you've been going through as well, So we definitely keep you uplifted,
And I appreciate it because I do get uplifted. I told you the Spirit came in, it never left, and it's all good.
Amen.
All good.
Amen.
And I thank you all for that.
Oh, was there any shout-outs you would like to give anybody on the air tonight, Ms. Daniels, before you get off?
Well, I'd like to say to my daughter, Danielle, this special shout-out goes to you. Keep on living and learning. And to all the people that mean well, trying to do good, don't give up. Hang in there. Our battle is not ours. It belongs to God. And the struggle that we're going through is only a reward coming to us.
Amen.
And as you said, the streets don't love you back, but there is a block where there's plenty of love. And when we get on that block, we don't have to worry about nobody.
Amen.
Okay, so we have a victory.
That's right. Thank you for those kind words, Miss Daniels.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we live on the air in Motor City, E-Town.
Who's that?
Mom, man.
What's going on? Is all right?
Yeah, everything good. This Sidney back in effect.
That's what's up. Little brother said he want to give a shout out the chef.
Oh, my man. Just throw him on the air right fast, so he can do his shout out.
Hey, we call him the chef so he do his thing on the grill.
My man.
Yep.
We definitely appreciate that, Hey, what's happening, little bro? What's the good word?
Just chilling, taking it easy.
My man, Hey, taking it easy is better than not easy at all, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You doing good?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing all right.
Good.
My man. So any shout-outs, any message you'd like to give out on air tonight?
Well, yeah, matter of fact, I want to give a shout-out, to all my family and all my loved ones. And, I definitely want to give a shout-out to my brothers that's in prison. The rest of them. They still here with us in prayer, always. And the streets don't let you back. And I want to give a shout-out to you too, Rob, my big brother, and my sister, Lucinda.
We appreciate it, homie. You know what I mean? It's all good, And, you and Sidney just hang tight on the air. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome right back into the Streets and Love You Back radio show where we're doing it big and live tonight with my brother Sidney Daniel, and we putting in the work. So we're going to go back over to brother and ask him to give his last shout-out, everything before we get off the air. Yeah, back in effect. Yeah, my man. Yeah, you stepped off for a break when we took a radio break. You stepped off for your break, my man.
Right, for sure, put the level top and stuff sleep on my lap.
Loving it. My man. So, any last shout-outs you'd like to give anybody, Sidney, before we get off the air?
Hey, you hear me? I was on there the whole time, really, because when y'all was saying it was a little technical difficulty, I was on there the whole time. Man. I had to sit her down for a minute. She fell asleep on my lap, little shorty.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like I said,
last word.
To everybody, worldwide, I want to give a shout out to my brother Rob, for doing his thing. Give a shout out to you, being his lovely wife, helping him manage to do his thing. I want to give a shout out to the streetsdon'tloveyouback.com. I want to give a shout out to the D. Let everybody know that, we still here, we doing big things, and there's more to come. Give a shout out to Mom for being solid 100%, doing what she's doing, holding us down. And like I said, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, for doing her thing, holding me down. And, I want to give a shout-out to the creator up above for making it all possible.
My man.
Hey, Sidney, what advice would you give the youth today about staying out of the streets and not going to prison, doing the right things?
Well, the main thing I would probably say to them, even if I was a motivational speaker or just speaking in terms general, I would let them know, the streets ain't where it's at, Go and get you an education while it's free, because it's going to become a time when it's going to cost again. And a lot of times, we got right now we got so much going our way. We got so many different programs that, that sponsor, scholarships or what have you, send children off to youth programs and job corps settings or whatever, But a lot of times we don't take advantage of that. We wait till it's too late, then we have to pay for it. And a lot of us not in position to pay the type of money that it costs for the funds. Like as far as books and tuitions and stuff like that. If you go to college right now, that stuff will cost you. You got to pay for your books. You got to pay for your dorm. You got to pay for so much stuff. And a lot of us don't have that to pay for, like that. And they wonder why when they graduate, children don't have a full graduation. They might not even have cap and gown unless it's donated or the school trying to help them out. But a lot of times, like I said, what we need to do is we need to understand our children. And it's not hard because as long as you understand yourself and understand first and foremost that you was once a child, you would know how to talk to a child. You wouldn't have to raise your voice at them. You wouldn't have to beat them, none of that. So like I said, I'm very patient and tolerant, I must say, when it comes to children because I understand children. And a lot of them love being around me because they know that I understand them. I have yet to hit one or even really raise my voice at one. And like I said, what I would basically tell them, like pretty much to sum it up, would be stay focused, remain focused, stay young while you're young. Don't try to outgrow yourself before it's too late, because once you grow old, you're old. It's a lot you can get done while you're young because there's going to be people that's going to help you and be willing to help you because they're going to look at you as being young. But once you get older, it's certain people that's going to probably be there. Then again, it's going to be less people that's going to be there as opposed to you being a child, them helping you buying your school books and school clothes or what have you. So they're going to look at you to be grown enough to get your own self a job, give it, furnish your own transportation, and do what it takes for you to get on your feet. But like I said, I'm trying to just, like I said, I'm so blessed and so grateful right now because my children, is like my boys, 17 and 19, and my 19-year-old, he just graduated from Wayne State. And he's on his way up to nursing school. I went over by the house, talked to him yesterday, and I'm so proud of him because he was the main one I thought wasn't going to make it, but he proved me wrong. And we sat out and talked to the house for hours, And when I went over there, I talked to him, he started crying, and he was telling me that he hadn't seen me in so long. He saying he hated to lose me, and, it was a real beautiful situation, because we sat out there and we talked about stuff. We talked about stuff that, grown folks normally talk about, but it was me and my son just having a father and son moment. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I embraced him. I kissed him. I talked to him. Like I said, we took pictures out in front of the house. I told him I'll be back this week sometime to pick you up. We can go out, like to the movies or go by the river walk, walk around, get on the people. But we do stuff that, people do, family members do, have a family hour. Right. So like I said, we have to learn to embrace the youth first before we can do anything because if we don't embrace them and be able to reach them, only thing they're going to understand is the streets because that's the only thing they're going to be able to relate to. They're going to see other people wearing sets of gym shoes, going places, doing things, and they're going to want to embrace that. So we have to stop this cycle while they're still young and let them know, look, we're here. Same thing that the dope dealer going to give you, I'm going to give you, but you're going to earn it.
Right.
You're not going to earn it by sitting up in no dope house. You're going to earn it by showing me that you're my son, you're willing to do your chores around the house, you're willing to, listen, be obedient. As long as you're under my roof, I don't have a problem dressing you out. As long as you're in school, I buy your books, everything. I want to see you do good.
Right.
That's how we got to approach, take this approach. Because if we don't do that, we'll lose them every time. And a lot of times, a whole bunch of our children and stuff is just like, and then you got adults too that, that really don't know certain things and afraid to tell a child, look, I don't know. And so a child automatically be resentful and look at the parent like, okay, well, he's stupid. He don't know this. He can't. What can you tell me? And it's sad because a lot of times we don't know because we choose not to know. We got to learn to take time out for ourselves. You got a lot of people that that just moving so fast in life they don't even have time for themselves. That's sad.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, man, that's real talk right there, bro, that you just put down. People definitely have to take time out to understand your child because if you don't, the streets definitely will raise your child and raise it in totally the wrong direction and the wrong way. So you must take time out to understand what is really going on and start understanding not only what you see, but definitely understanding what is being spoke, you know. So that's a big lesson always learned, you know. So that's definitely great wording from you, little brother, you know, and we appreciate that, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure, anytime. Like I said, it's always good to connect and elaborate, you know, on beautiful topics, you know. And then, like, you know, especially when you're on the air like we is now, you know, where everybody can hear and know what's going on, you know, and I'm hoping that I reach somebody tonight, you know, in terms of, you know, the way they thought or the way they might be thinking, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, being able to help them out in a situation might be a stressful situation. There might be somebody that needs somebody to talk to, and hopefully my message got across, you know.
My man. And we definitely, you know it done touch somebody because when you speak something real, you know, a person can't do nothing but truly embrace that, you know what I mean, or reject it. Because most of the time, you're going to embrace what's real and you're going to reject what's BS, you feel me? So this is well took, you know what I mean, point real took. And tonight, once again, I want to send out another message to my boy, Mr. George Monterano. That's me and my wife's friend. Mr. George has been down 28 years and for a non-violent drug case, and we're definitely pushing for that drug law to be overturned. Mr. George can step on down, and we send a whole shout-out to his family as well, you know, the whole Monterano family, you know, so we definitely shoot that love out there. So is there any messages that we need to address or announce before we close out the show tonight, babe?
Well, just remind everybody to log on to The Streets Don't Love You Back at thestreetsdon'tloveyouback.ning.com and join the movement. Join with us. Put your information up there. Get the books, The Streets Don't Love You Back and Never Hit a Woman. And, you know, just get involved with this. Let's do some networking and let's do some put some programs together to reach the youth and help the youth and educate the youth so that they can have a better future.
Amen. You know, I appreciate that, you know. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to thank you, Sidney, for coming on the show tonight, and to all the viewers and everything. Once again, Sidney is one of our younger brothers, and we definitely appreciate him coming on the show and spreading his message tonight. And I just want to give a shout-out before we get off the air once again to my brother Marvell, to my brother Christopher, and to my brother Robbie that's on lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Much love to y'all, and we definitely keeping you in our prayers and all of that, you feel me? And to all our Streets Don't Love You Back members who roll with the movement on lockdown. You know, now we used to have 40 prisons across the country that we send our newsletter out to, but now just want to let the viewers know we done upped it. We have 10 more prisons now, so we have a total of 50 prisons we send out our newsletter to, and it's growing. You know, the only state that we have not tapped into is Hawaii and over in the North Pole. You feel me? Like they said, ain't Alaska. You dig what I'm saying? So BOYD and the ministers have definitely been working at hand across the board. So we got 50, not 40 now. We got 50, and we're making it happen, you know. We send out love to all our soldiers on lockdown and to all our soldiers that's out here in the street that's sending that message to these young kids out here and helping them, you know what I mean, revive their mind, because in order to change your life around, you first have to change your way of thinking and change your mind on how you're trying to live, you know. So that's one point of change. So we would like to thank everybody for that, and thank everybody for tuning in tonight, listening to my brother's message. And once again, each one, teach one, reach one, bless one. And we just thank everybody.
All right. And we'd just like to thank all those that join us in our chat room every week as well, and those that just get online or call in and listen. We appreciate all of our listeners and all of our supporters, and please continue to join us. And that's all I have for this week. Just join us again next Wednesday night, 8:30 Pacific time, 11:30 Eastern time, and have a great week. And remember, the streets don't love you back. Have a great week.
Peace and love.